At about this age, children begin using a more social form of aggression, namely indirect aggression. Dr. John Archer, past president of the International Society for Research on Aggression.
Indirect aggression is aggression which is not face-to-face, but it's behind the back of the individual. It can be disguised, but it still has the intent to harm. It has the advantage from the aggressor's point of view that there's less danger of immediate retaliation. It develops after the other forms of aggression, direct verbal aggression and direct physical aggression. Indirect aggression requires a certain social skill, and that develops just a bit later.
There are changes in the form of aggression and also in the frequency, which declines up to the teenage years. In fact, compared to teenagers and adults, children under 5 engage in far more assaults on other persons.
When we observe 2-year-olds playing together, we count the number of physical aggressions per half hour or per hour. At around 24 months of age, children will use at least one physical aggression out of 4 interactions, 4 social interactions. When we look at adolescence, we look at the frequency in terms of years, months, or weeks, but never in terms of in the last hour or the last half hour.
Why and in what way do children's aggressive behavior diminish over the years, you might ask? Researchers hypothesize that the tendency to resort to physical aggression is natural both in humans and in animals. The reason for this is simple. Evolution is thought to favor individuals capable of attacking and defending themselves by allowing them to survive and reproduce. This legacy lives on. But at the same time, animals who, like humans, live in groups seem to have mechanisms in place starting at the beginning of life to temper their natural aggressive behavior. It's easy to understand why. The survival of a group would be seriously jeopardized if its members were constantly attacking one another. It seems that social animals, including humans, are programmed to curb their aggressive behaviors. This programming doesn't reside in our hearts or souls, but in our brains. Doctors Mario Beauregard and Thomas Poss are among the leading investigators using brain imaging to understand brain development.
There's a popular belief according to which emotions come from the soul. However, several lines of evidence indicate now that we're starting to know exactly where emotional processes are happening in the brain.
Thanks to new brain imaging techniques, we're able to observe that as the brain develops, there is a gradual increase in its capacity to control emotions such as anger and to suppress aggressive acts.
And in the same way as we are able to control our sexual drive in a social context, we are able to control our aggressive drives in a particular social context. So we don't punch everyone we don't like. And there, of course, it's perhaps the frontal regions that are very important for that kind of control. If we didn't have those regions, we would act like automatons. We would be just simply stimulus-response machines.
Different brains react to anger in different ways. The brain's ability to control negative emotions is influenced by a number of factors, including temperament. Because of genetics, some people have brown hair and others blonde. Some people have blue eyes and others green. Temperament may also be determined by one's genes. All humans, it is proposed, possess two systems that are more or less active in them depending on personality. One is a kind of accelerator, pushing us to act and to seek out thrills, for example. The other works like a brake, holding us in check and creating fear in us. In certain people, it is thought, the accelerator is dominant, while in others, it may be the braking mechanism. Differences in temperament can be seen right from birth. Parents of more than one child know very well that some babies are calm, while others are restless, difficult, and easily frustrated. But hereditary factors shaping temperament are not all. The environment is also important. It sculpts the human brain, which is very malleable at the start of life.
When the child is born, the size of his or her brain is about 500 grams, which is about 1/3 of the size of the human brain. But then in the next 4 years, their brains grow to the adult size. So by the age of 5, their brains are about the size of the adult brain. So that tells you right away that, of course, there are many things that are happening in terms of the brain development during the early phase of the first 4 years of life.
In an adequate environment, even children with difficult temperaments generally grow up to be nonviolent adults. How does a child's brain develop the brakes that inhibit physical aggression? All children take some pleasure in pushing, slapping, and hitting, simply because humans may be programmed to do these things to ensure survival. But through contact with others, they learn that the pleasure gained from hitting someone is often followed by the pain of being hit back. Or they learn that if they hurt someone, they might find themselves all alone. In fact, one of the rules of social survival is that individuals who persist in using physical aggression to solve their problems or vent their frustrations are eventually excluded. This is as true for humans as it is for monkeys. For more than 30 years, Professor Stephen Sumi has studied the development of social behavior in monkeys.
The social group basically polices itself and enforces the rules of social dominance, the social mores of the troop, and monkeys that don't pay attention to those rules or are overly aggressive in their interactions don't last in that troop very long. They're kicked out of the troop, they go solitary, and most of them don't survive very long.
As long as aggressive children receive clear messages of disapproval, their brains develop the appropriate neural circuits, and over time, these circuits grow stronger.
Okay. And we're gentle with our friends. We don't hurt our friends. No, I'm talking to you. Tony, look at me. Look at me. I'm talking to you. Look at me. Tony? Laura is saying it was too loud for her ears.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So you're gonna use your soft voice?
Okay.
Okay, you will read a story now.
Okay, I see that you look sad. Why don't you go tell him? Okay, so you wanted to join in the game? So you need to let him know that you want to join in, right? So why don't you use your words and let him know how you feel about it?
Humans need other people for their development and survival. The desire to keep their friends compels children to make compromises and find new ways to resolve conflict. If an argument blows up, the child later feels a need to make peace. Reconciling after an argument is behavior common to all social